Who's got it better than us? Nobody!
What's up, Niner fans? I'm JT Magnum. Welcome to Niner News. Now, first and foremost, I'm doing this commentary because I wanted you guys to know how I feel about something. I've been reading Twitter. I read all this like hate stuff on ESPN and all these different, 49ers news sites and NFL.com along with everything else, and I gotta admit, I'm really upset with you San Francisco 49er fans. It's like you guys give up so easily on a team. Everybody's mad at Trent Baalke. Everybody's mad at Jed York. Dude, first of all, Jed York's going nowhere. He owns the team, all right? He's the owner. He's the CEO. They're not going anywhere, all right? This is a guy that's he's not going to go anywhere. So relax, people. In the words of Aaron Rodgers, relax. Just relax. These guys aren't stupid. They know what they're doing. Trent Baalke's not an idiot. He's not going to shell out a lot of money for a bunch of free agents you guys all want. He's not going to waste money on older high-priced veterans that are going to end up being off the team soon. He's building up through the draft. He's building up through younger free agents or free agents that'll play well for less money. That's what the 49er way has always been. It was the way when Jim Harbaugh was here. It was the way that they built it up for that nice 3-year run that we had. All right? Now remember. Now, first and foremost, I'm going to talk about the offense of the 49ers this year. All right? We lost F.Y.I. So what? The guy couldn't pass protect. He was a mauler on the offensive line to run block, but I mean, you can get other maulers. We have Brandon Thomas, who's coming off of an injury, who's a promising. I mean, he would have been a first-round pick had he not got injured in college the year before. The Niners shelved him. We had F.Y.I, so we didn't need him. But now that he's gone, we got a lesser paying. We pay somebody less. He could probably do the same job, if not better, in pass protection than F.Y.I. And we don't have to pay $8 million a year that F.Y.I would have costed. We have Marcus Martin, who's another promising guard center. The guy can play center, the guy can play guard. If Brandon Thomas doesn't work out, Marcus Martin can plug in there. We still have Alex Boone. We still have Joe Staley. We still have Anthony Davis. We got some really cool, great players on the offensive line. The running back situation is okay with Kendall Hunter and Carlos Hyde. Carlos Hyde is not a bad running back. I know Frank Gore was the best. We get it, but he's 32 years old. He went to the Colts. There's no way we're playing him for 4 more years. There's no way you're going to pay a 32-year-old running back for 4 more years. So why not let the future and Carlos Hyde, let him run. Get another guy to back him up along with Kendall Hunter, and you got a nice 3-headed monster at running back for the 49ers. Colin Kaepernick went to school with Kurt Warner. Hopefully he comes back strong-headed, strong-minded, and he gets his stuff right. We got a different offensive coordinator now, a better quarterbacks coach in my opinion, and some great guy. We lost Crabtree and lost Stevie Johnson. Stevie Johnson's going to get released today. Today is Wednesday when I'm doing this. Michael Crabtree, he just didn't pan out. You're talking about a guy that wants way more money than he's worth. And he's not that good. He dropped a lot of passes last year. He get 1,000 yards 1 year out of all the years that he was there. He's always injured, it seems like. And Stevie Johnson was disappointing. Now, Stevie Johnson, I wish we could have kept him because I kind of like his game. I like how shifty he is. But the problem with Stevie Johnson is $6 million for a receiver that didn't do much for the 49ers last year. So there's no use paying him when there's a Bolden. I know Bolden's old too, but Bolden was getting 1,000 yards every year. So we signed Torrey Smith for some speed. We need a guy that can take the top off of a defense, meaning you have to double team him on the outside. That leaves other guys open underneath, aka Vernon Davis, who needs to get open again. He didn't. It's hard to play when every guy runs the same routes and can't get any separation. A la Crabtree, a la Stevie Johnson, a la Bolden. Bolden can't get separation like that, but Bolden's good, but he can't, when you got 3 receivers who can't get separation, it's hard, and no speed on the outside, it's hard. Teams can just collapse, and that's what happened last year. And plus, the 49ers were predictable on offense. And that guy is gone, Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh. I'm not saying I hate Jim Harbaugh. I love Jim Harbaugh. But what I'm saying is predictable on offense. It was too much. I was calling the plays last year, and I'm not even on defense. I'm not even in the NFL. I was calling their plays last year. At one point, I called 8 straight plays on their offensive series. 8 straight plays. I know what they were doing. So did the defense, obviously, because they're NFL scouts. Obviously, they know what they're doing. So it's Niner fans, just relax. The offense will be fine this year. The offense is going to probably improve. It's going to be better. And that defense is, minus the losses. And I'll talk about the defense right now. The defense right now with... just keep this in mind, okay? Last year, Patrick Willis was hurt. Glenn Dorsey, Navarro Bowman, Ian Williams, Tremaine Brock, Aldon Smith was gone for 9 games due to suspension, and Jimmy Ward was gone, the promising rookie. Now, Jimmy Ward did get burned a couple times, but he's a rookie. You're supposed to get burned. That's what happens. And, he was schooled by, of all people, Brandon Marshall in 1 game. Like, there's, if there's anybody who's going to school you, obviously Brandon Marshall, who's way taller than Ward, is going to school you. You know what I'm saying? Now, Ahmad Brooks played hurt in a game, or he was suspended, or he, missed games due to taking himself out of the game. Eric Reed missed some games with concussions. Michael Wilhoit, Nick Moody missed some time. I mean, Michael Wilhoit didn't miss a game at start or anything, but he missed games due to, he was injured a little bit. Nick Moody missed some time because of injuries as well. Chris Borland ended up missing the last game or 2. He was injured. He couldn't play. So, and despite all of that, the Niners were 5th in total defense in the NFL last year. 5th. Now, a lot of these pieces are coming back this year. No Justin Smith, no Patrick Willis, but a lot of these pieces last year that were on that team are coming back. Okay? Tank Carradine, Tony Gerard-Eddy, Glenn Dorsey, Ian Williams, Quentin Dial, Mike Purcell, who was almost hurt almost the whole year, Caleb Ramsey, who didn't even play the whole year. These are promising defensive linemen with Jim Tomsula coaching them. Don't forget, Jim Tomsula is our head coach. He was the defensive line coach. This guy can just coach defensive linemen. And of course, newly signed Darnell Dockett, who's definitely going to help the defensive line. Now, Justin Smith is retiring, but Justin Smith is 35 years old. You can't expect him to play the same way every year. It's not the same with him. You can't expect these guys to just, collect big money and, just be on the Niners every year. You got to get younger. You got to get stronger. You got to get more depth. And that's what the Niners are doing. The fact that somebody's retiring shouldn't make you guys mad at the ownership. Justin Smith's not retiring because of Trent Baalke or Jed York. He's retiring because he's old and his body's run down now. And these guys, they got to take care of themselves. That's why they're retiring. They can't play anymore. I mean, these guys are giving their heart and soul out there. Patrick Willis, he didn't retire because of Trent Baalke and Jed York. I mean, he flat out told you guys in the press conference he's retiring because his feet hurt. His feet aren't the same anymore. His feet, he's had surgery on them now. He's been having this problem since college. The guy was a phenomenal player, can track receivers down, can track tight ends, can cover anybody. On top of that, he just roamed the sidelines so fast. There was nobody you can't run on him. He almost made every tackle, never hardly missed a tackle in his career. I can only think of maybe 1 or 2 times where he missed a tackle in his career, even with a cast on his arm. The guy was a phenomenal inside linebacker. Probably the best inside linebacker in the game, period. Hands down, the best inside linebacker in the game. But he was starting to decline. You could see it. He wasn't moving the same. Tight ends were burning him now, and his feet weren't the same. And he said it. My feet hurt. He said, my feet aren't the same. I can't play at the same level as I used to play. Therefore, I'm going to retire, because he didn't want to wear his body down to the point where he couldn't play with his kids in the future, or play with, do things as a husband if he became one and everything like that. That's what he was saying. But you guys want to blame Jed York and blame Trent Baalke. Now, you don't have to like them, you don't have to love them, but they're part of the 49ers. They're what the 49ers are. You guys should learn how to support your owners and support your GM. Despite what they do, you root for the team. You don't jump on the bandwagon and all of a sudden like the Niners and then start saying, I jump on the bandwagon, I'm starting to hate on them. You don't hate on them. You trust with their decisions, you trust what they're doing, and you trust that they're doing something right. That's what you do. That's what a fan does. You're not the general manager, you're never gonna be. So stop trying to figure out, how to do it and make rules and just root for your team. So anyways, the linebacking core is still set. We got Aaron Lynch, Aldon Smith, Navarro Bowman, and Chris Borland. Now, Chris Borland is no Patrick Willis. I understand that, but he's still a formidable linebacker. And Bowman is one of the best inside linebackers in the game. He was at his prime, at least before he got injured, if not better than Patrick Willis at this point. He was one of the better linebackers in the game. The only guy I can think of that was probably better than Navarro Bowman is Bobby Wagner from the Seattle Seahawks, period. there's nobody better right now than Bowman and than Willis and Wagner. Those are the only two you can think of. And Willis is retiring, so Bowman's going to take over the team. And Borland's definitely a great addition. Thank goodness the Niners drafted him. Aaron Lynch is a great outside linebacker. He'll be fine. Aldon Smith is Aldon Smith. He'll be there for the whole season. And then you got Michael Wilhoit, Nick Moody, and Corey Lemonnier backing him up, and maybe they'll draft one to back them up later. Now, the secondary has Tremaine Brock, who was hurt all year. It has Dante Johnson, who played great as a rookie last year. I don't know if you saw his coverage, but he's 6'2". He can run. He can fly. The boy can cover in the slot or outside, and he'll be fine. Jimmy Ward comes back to assume the nickel role. Then you got some guys that nobody knows about, Kenneth Acker and Keith Reeser. Keith Reeser is a flyer. The dude can fly. The dude can cover. It's just they got to get out there in the field. So we're probably going to lose Cox and Culliver, but like I said before, you can't pay big money for a lot of these guys. You got to be able to draft and build up, and that's what teams like New England have done. Teams like, teams that just build up through the draft and they keep on winning, and that's what happens. So then you got, the safeties, Eric Reed, Antoine Bethea. Those are two Pro Bowl safeties. Both can still play at Pro Bowl level. The only guys I can think of that are better than them are Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor from the Seahawks again. I mean, these are two great safeties on the Niners, and Jimmy Ward is going to be groomed to take over the free safety spot when Antoine Bethea leaves, and Eric Reed will go over to Antoine Bethea's spot at strong safety. So that's pretty much what's going to be happening in the future, and you guys just stop worrying. The only guy that I do not like on the San Francisco 49ers is Craig Dahl. I can't stand him. I don't want him there. I can't stand him. I don't think he can cover worth a dang. I think he's horrible on special teams. I don't know why they like him so much, but that's the only guy I can think of. But I'm not going to sit here cussing out Jed York and Trent Baalke about it. You guys just relax. This 49er team will be fine. The coaching staff will be fine. They'll be different this year. No more predictable offense. No more predictable defense. Like rushing just 3 or 4 guys at a time and never nobody else. There'll be some blitzes. Eric Mangini is a great defensive mind. A lot of people don't understand that, but he's a great defensive mind. A lot of people rag on him because he had a bad season with New England that one year, but nobody knows that this whole team was hurt that year in New England, and a lot of guys departed in free agency, so he was left with kind of a makeshift team, and he did the best he could on that team. So, like I said, the guy can coach defense. Jim Tom Sula can coach defensive line. He's a great player coach. He'll get the players revved up. The front office will draft a good player, hopefully a receiver, hopefully a Jalen Strong, hopefully a Dorial Green Beckham, or maybe somebody else. They'll draft some depth on the O-line. They'll draft some depth at cornerback. They'll draft some depth on the defensive line, and this ship will keep on rolling. This team is not that bad. This team is not bad at all. Just relax, people. Just relax, all right? If there's any advice you want to come talk to me, just message me. I'll help you. I'll help you through it, people. But there's no need to get all up on Trent Baalke and Jed York and cussing them out and asking them what they're doing because they're not signing players and overpaying for stupid high-priced free agents. There's no use in doing that. Just trust the front office that they're building up through the draft and they're doing it through young players. Let the old players retire. That's what happens. Was I upset about Patrick Willis? Yeah, yes. Patrick Willis was one of my favorite players. Frank Gore was one of my favorite players on the Niners. But Frank Gore is 32 years old. Patrick Willis is now 30, but he was retiring because he was hurt. Justin Smith, one of my favorite Niners, not hurt, and he's old. Let these guys go. Let them go off, do their thing on another team. Root for them if you want to, but root for your 49ers. Don't root against your 49ers just because you don't agree with front office moves when they're trying to make the team better and younger for the future. All right? So for JT Magnum Niner News, I'm out. Peace.